Hello everybody, Sorbeaten here and welcome back to another past paper practice video. In this video I will be tackling a simultaneous equation question. So let's head straight into this question. So the question says, solve the pair of simultaneous equation, and the equation is x squared is equal to 4 minus y, and that is equation 1, and the other equation is x is equal to y plus 2. So we can call this equation 1 and we can call this equation 2. So the thing about solving simultaneous equation, we want to combine these two equations some way or the other. So what we can do a few things. We can either substitute x into this equation, in which it will replace this x squared, or we can make y the subject and then substitute it inside here. So here what we'll do, let's since x is already the subject here, let's substitute this into this equation. So we'll say we'll substitute x equal y plus 2 in equation 1. So instead of x squared, we'll have y plus 2 squared is equal to 4 minus y. By the way, this question went for 5 marks. So you can imagine the amount of work that you have to do for this here. So we work this out now. So y plus 2 squared, that would be the same as y plus 2 in bracket, y plus 2. This is equal to 4 minus y. So we work this out, we'll have y multiplied by y plus 2. So we take in this y and multiply by everything in this bracket. Then we take the plus 2 and we multiply everything in this bracket again. So plus 2 multiplied by y plus 2. And this is equal to 4 minus y. So we distribute throughout. So y times y would be y squared plus y times 2 would be 2y. And 2 times y would be 2y. And 2 times 2 would be 4, and this is equal to 4 minus y. So y squared would be equal to, so when we add up this, we'll end up with plus 4y plus 4 is equal to 4 minus y. So we put all the terms on one side. So we'll end up with y squared plus 4y. We bring over this minus y to become plus y plus 4, and bring over this 4 to become minus 4 is equal to 0. So this would then be y squared, 4y plus y would give us plus 5y, and 4 minus 4 would give us 0. So this would be equal to 0. And let's move up here. So since we want to solve for y, we want to find a value for y, we can go ahead and factorize this. So a nice and easy way to factorize this is to simply factor out the y, and then we're left with, when we factor the y from here, we're left with y plus, we factor the y from here, we're left with 5, and this is equal to 0. So now we have two things multiplying equal to 0, so we know y will be equal to 0, and then we equate the other bracket to 0, well, the other part of the product, which is the things in the bracket here, to 0. So we can say y plus 5 is equal to 0. So y will be equal to minus 5. So we have our two values for y. So since we have our two values for y, now we can use these two values for y to find the other corresponding values for x. So first of all, let me draw down a line here. So when y is equal to 0, we'll say x will be equal to, so instead of y, we'll use equation 2. We can either use this one or this one. But since x is already the subject and this is easier to use, we'll use equation 2. So we can say substitute y equal 0 in equation 2. So we can say x would be equal to, instead of y plus 2, we'll have 0 plus 2. So x would be equal to 2. So when y is equal to 0, x is equal to 2. So next thing, we substitute y equal negative 5 in equation 1 again. Actually, equation 2, sorry. So this will now be x is equal to, instead of y plus 2, we'll have negative 5 plus 2. So x would therefore be equal to negative 5 plus 2 would be a negative 3. So to answer this question, we can say therefore, when x is equal to 2, y is equal to 0, and when x is equal to negative 3, y is equal to negative 5. So we want to check to make sure our answers are correct. So let's substitute those values into here. So this is how we check. So now we are checking. So let's check. So let's use our two values. Let's use 2 and 0. So let's see. So x squared would be 2 squared is equal to 4 minus y, which is 0. So 2 2 is 4 is equal to 4. So that checks out. That is correct. So let's substitute the same thing in the other one. Instead of x, we'll have 2 is equal to y plus 2, which is 0 plus 2. So 2 is equal to 2. So that checks out. So most likely if one pair is correct, the other pair would be correct as well. But let's not take any chances. So let's use these two now. So we'll have x squared is equal to 4 minus y. So instead of x, we'll have negative 3 squared is equal to 4 minus y, which is negative 5. So negative 3 squared would be 9 is equal to 4 minus negative 5. This will become 4 plus 5, which is 9. So that checks out. So let's check it with the bottom piece now. Instead of x, we'll have negative 3 is equal to y plus 2. So this will be negative 5 plus 2. So negative 3 will be equal to, this will become negative 3. So that checks out. So that means all of our answers are 100% correct, and we carried away all 5 marks in this question. Nice and easy. So with that, this has brought me to the end of this video. I trust that you have a good understanding of how to tackle these tricky simultaneous equation questions. Remember, the whole aim is to put one equation into the other, regardless of which method you're using. So with that, I'll see you in the next video, in which I'll be working some more questions. Until then, take care and keep practicing.